Have you ever found yourself in a crowded room, surrounded by the buzz of conversation, but somehow feeling completely invisible, like you're just watching life unfold from behind a pane of glass? Maybe you laugh at the right moments, say all the right things, but inside, it's as if you're drifting further and further away from everyone, even from yourself. If you've been feeling distant from others lately, you're not alone, and there's a reason for it that's deeper and far more meaningful than you might think. Today, on the Growth Mindset Project, we're exploring why you might feel disconnected from everyone around you and what it could really mean about who you're becoming. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell icon below so you never miss a deep dive that could change your self-understanding, your growth, and your connections forever. Your journey to greater clarity starts right here. So, what's really going on when you start feeling distant from others? It often begins subtly. You notice the energy draining out of social interactions that used to be fun. You find yourself withdrawing, not out of sadness or anger, but from a quiet sense that you just don't belong in the same way anymore. But here's the key insight. This feeling isn't random, and it's certainly not a sign that something is wrong with you. Let's dig deeper into the psychology of feeling distant from others. Over years of daily life, your brain has been quietly recording every moment where you felt like you had to perform or fit in rather than just be yourself. Maybe you've laughed at jokes that weren't funny to you, or nodded along with ideas you don't honestly agree with, or maybe you stayed silent when every bone in your body wanted to speak out. These moments might seem trivial, but they add up. And eventually, what you're left with isn't just exhaustion, it's something psychologists call identity fatigue. Identity fatigue happens when your authentic self and the self you present to the world become misaligned for too long. Think about your relationships. When did you start feeling like all the small talk, all the group texts and meetups felt more like an obligation than an authentic exchange? It's your psyche's protective system kicking in, trying to shield you from further compromise. Most people don't realize it, but this emotional distance is your brain's way of saying, enough. Enough of changing your personality to match whatever room you're in. Enough of discounting your own preferences to keep the peace. Enough of trading honesty for approval. So you subconsciously start to withdraw, to preserve what's left of your genuine self. In fact, this process is incredibly common among empathetic and adaptable people. Maybe you've always been great at reading the room, at being the person everyone needs you to be in the moment. But here's the flip side. The more you adapt, the more distant you feel from your own sense of self, and the more emotionally numb you become over time. If this sounds like your experience, please hit that like button and drop a comment below about when you first started noticing this distance. Your insight might help someone else realize they're not alone. Let's bring this into focus. When you constantly suppress your instincts and genuine responses, your brain rewires itself to mute your emotions, to keep you functional in inauthentic situations. This is why you can be in the middle of a party and still feel totally alone, or why you find yourself scrolling through your phone just to avoid the strain of pretending. Your inner world is screaming for truth and depth, but the mask you wear is becoming harder and harder to maintain. Here's the fascinating part. Feeling distant from others often means you're not losing your ability to connect. You're actually becoming far more selective about who and what you connect to. You're tired of one-dimensional conversations. You want resonance, not just proximity. In a world so full of distractions and surface-level interactions, that can feel isolating, even though it's actually an act of self-preservation. As your standards for what counts as authentic connection rise, you might start saying no to invitations you'd previously accepted out of habit. Small talk, shallow exchanges, and routine gatherings suddenly feel empty. This can leave you questioning yourself. Am I being too picky? Too difficult? Have I changed too much? But what you're really experiencing is discernment. You're finally, maybe for the first time, listening to your intuition and saying no to what drains you. If you've gone through a major life change recently, or if you've been diving into therapy, spiritual growth, or just a phase of deep self-reflection, this process tends to accelerate. Here's a brief reminder. If you haven't yet, like this video, subscribe, and let us know in the comments what resonates with you. This community exists to support each other through exactly these kinds of transitions. Now, this shift doesn't always make sense to the people around you. Friends or family may see your need for space as rejection. They may try to pull you back into old patterns to keep things as they were. This is normal, but it can be painful. It's easy to feel misunderstood or even guilty for needing space. But the truth is, sometimes personal growth means outgrowing relationships or versions of yourself that fit your past, not your future. That feeling of distance, it's your internal guidance system doing its job. It's not a failure. It's not selfishness. It's self-preservation, a way to conserve your energy for meaningful interactions, not just comfortable routines. This space you're creating is fertile ground. It allows you to hear your own thoughts again, to feel what genuinely brings you joy, rather than what you've been told should bring you joy. This is not about cutting everyone off, or about loneliness for its own sake. It's about refining your connections. When you show up as your authentic self, even if that means fewer interactions, those moments will carry more weight, more substance. You stop being a performer and start being a participant in your real life. Some people will notice you replying to messages less often, or skipping events you used to attend regularly. But when you do participate, you bring more of your real self with you. You're not just filling the silence, you're offering something true. The right people will sense this difference and be drawn to your presence. They'll want to meet you at that deeper level. This change doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow process of tuning in to your own reactions, of noticing which environments refill your tank and which ones deplete you. Some days you'll feel empowered and energized by your new boundaries. Other days, self-doubt might creep in and make you wonder if you're moving in the right direction. When this happens, pause and ask yourself, am I feeling uncomfortable because I'm doing something wrong, or just because I'm doing something new? This is the heart of personal growth, not just in how you relate to others, but in discovering who you are when you're not performing for the crowd. You might realize passions and interests buried for years, or that values and dreams you thought were yours really belong to someone else. This process isn't about regret or erasing your past. It's about building on it, integrating these new insights, and stepping more confidently into who you really are. Feeling distant from others is not proof that you're broken, unlovable, or destined to be alone. It's simply your soul's way of asking for deeper, richer, truer connections. It's an invitation to stop apologizing for your needs and to create space for relationships that nurture your authentic self. If this has struck a chord with you, don't stop here. Check out our other videos on personal boundaries, identity growth, and authentic living. And don't forget to hit the bell so you'll know whenever a new episode drops on the Growth Mindset Project. Your journey to meaningful connection is just beginning.